We appreciate Damon's imagination and you allowing him to live out his childhood dreams. But enough is enough. He only responds to Batman. This has gone on far too long. We need your help. He needs to respond to his name, Damon. Now that was me at 5 years old. The proof is a framed letter from my preschool teacher to my parents, proudly displayed in the dining room of my parents' house. Around 6 years old, I hung up my cape for a baseball glove and a deep passion for sports, especially baseball, where I thrived. My dad, Walt, was a former college athlete. He was also my idol. And watching me, the oldest of 4 children, live out my dreams filled him with pride inside. Baseball is where I made my defining mark within my family, and the attention I received on the field made me feel incredible. By my sophomore year in high school, I realized that my ticket to a future in sports beyond college was baseball. So I went all in. I was determined to be the best player I could possibly be. My efforts paid off. I was a high school All-American, and I was drafted by the Atlanta Braves in the 13th round of the 1990 draft. However, I chose to attend Pepperdine University on a full baseball scholarship because I believed in our coach's vision of winning the College World Series and that 3 years in college would boost my draft status. Arriving at Pepperdine at 17 years old, I was full of confidence. But you know what? It didn't take me long to see that I was no longer the standout player I once was. I was surrounded by all these supremely talented players. And for the first time in my life, I started to grapple with imposter syndrome. It was a tough battle for me. I was timid on the field. I hated going to practice. And I was just hoping that people wouldn't see the inner turmoil I was going through. Halfway through our fall practice season, we had our first player coach sit down. Walking into the office, it was kind of like a work performance review. Walking into the office to meet up with Coach Andy Lopez, who's a Hall of Fame coach, I went to sit down. Before I even took my seat, Lopez looked right in my eyes and said, "Damon, when I recruited you to come to Pepperdine, I thought you'd be a tremendous player for our team, a big-time third baseman." Well, we made a mistake. Over the past couple months, it's clear you don't have what it takes to play Division I baseball. And I'm sorry, you're not a good fit for our team. I thought to myself, how do I get out of here? How do I go home and crawl under a rock and hide? This was my worst fear come to light. But before I had a chance to collect my thoughts and respond, Lopez leaned in, pointed at me and said, "Here's the thing, Damon, that's not what we think about you. The problem is that's what you think about yourself. That's what's in your head. The coaches and I, we see your talent. You can be a great teammate. The problem is you don't believe in your own ability, and there's nothing we can do about that. It's up to you to believe in yourself and turn things around." I'd like to tell you that I immediately left Coach Lopez's office, got inspired, and turned things around. Unfortunately, I didn't. I got hurt, and I decided to leave Pepperdine and go play at a junior college. But he was right about one thing. The year I left, Pepperdine won the College World Series. Transitioning from a star prospect to now feeling like just a kid who just failed to meet expectations, it left me with a daunting question. What's next for me if I'm not going to be a baseball player? I mean, this is seriously a question that I never really considered before. Now, during my college baseball season, luck intervened when John Pearson, JP, a coach from Arizona State, he spotted me during a game when he was out recruiting and scouting the other team's star pitcher. He was impressed with what he saw, and he reached out and offered me the opportunity to come play at Arizona State, one of the top programs in the country. Despite my excitement, I had a bunch of people reach out and say, "You shouldn't go to Arizona State. They're going to have 17 people trying out for first base. You're never going to sniff the field. You know what you should do, Damon? Why don't you go to a small school where you can play, earn your degree, and move on with your life?" At a crossroads, I thought to myself, screw it, what do I have to lose? So I accepted the offer from Arizona State, despite the doubts about my ability. I was determined to prove those people wrong. I went all in. I won the starting first base position, earning the trust of my new teammates, regaining my confidence, and ultimately, I had a great year. That was a transformative moment for me because I bet on myself and I found success. My confidence was at an all-time high, and my dad, Big Walt as I call him, was incredibly proud of me as our team reached the College World Series. Now, on the eve of Game 1 of the College World Series was the amateur baseball draft. Keep in mind, this was 1994, pre-internet. So we sat in our hotel room in Omaha, Nebraska, waiting for our calls. 7:30 a.m., the phone rings in my room. It's from my roommate, Jacob Cruz. San Francisco Giants, first round pick. No problem. I'm happy for Cruiser. He's my best friend. We battled for a hitting title all year. My call's coming. 10 a.m., 3 more guys drafted. By 5 p.m., 14 of my teammates were drafted. Even bench warmers got picked up in the later rounds. As for me, my call never came. I was in total disbelief. The next morning, I walked out onto the field for the College World Series, looked around, felt surreal. While it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, the disappointment of being overlooked lingered. Despite that, I managed to put on my game face, went out there, and hit a home run to help us win Game 1. As we were walking off the field, everybody's high-fiving me, congratulating me. I was drowning inside. I held it together until I could retreat to my room, where I let myself cry and drown my sorrows in alcohol. I couldn't shake the feeling that none of this mattered. My dreams were shattered. It was a harsh realization that having success at one level didn't guarantee the advancement to the next. And sometimes things in life don't always go as planned. A truth reinforced 14 years later when my dad passed away from cancer at 63. At 22 years old, I found myself at the crossroads. In my life, I only identified as 2 things. First, there was Batman, and then there was a baseball player. With neither of these options available to me anymore, I felt completely lost, and I doubted if any of my skills were transferable to the business world. Fortunately for me, I came from a family of entrepreneurs, from real estate to restaurants. And in June of '95, my dad just launched a small computer training company called Learnit. So I took a position there as a receptionist. Feeling uncertain about my place in the business world and still grappling with the transition from baseball, I decided to show up to work determined. I wanted to learn and I wanted to contribute. Soon, I noticed a lack of work ethic and commitment among some of my colleagues, including my dad's business partner. This frustrated me, and it reignited my drive. I dove in. I learned about computers. I learned about business. I asked questions. I put in the work, and I led by example, because I didn't want to see that for my first job and my family's investment at Learnit go to waste. My baseball journey taught me that my identity was more than my on-field ability. It was my passion and dedication. Seeing a lack of that same commitment amongst my employees, my coworkers, frustrated me. That frustration marked the start of a new journey for me, one that wasn't planned, but found me. From the front desk, I climbed the ranks at Learnit and became CEO, driven by this newfound passion of giving my all and tackling challenges head on. Embracing this all-in attitude has guided me in every aspect of my life since, whether it's my relationships, at work, or even my love of music. It took time for me to discover what my true passion was. But when I did, life became so much richer. The aspect of my work that I enjoy the most is the incredible talent we've been able to attract at Learnit over the years, and the contribution to the growth and development of others. Never in my wildest dreams did I think my career path would take me to the learning and development field. But I'm proud to say that at Learnit, my team and I, we have upskilled over 1.9 million people. This journey has taught me that true success, it's less about the external validation gained from playing baseball. I've learned that the intrinsic value of hard work, dedication, and believing in yourself and others can have a tremendous impact. While your journey may not always turn out as planned, through commitment, perseverance, and believing in yourself, you can achieve more than you ever imagined. Thank you.